And what is happening, guys? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you for another live review of tonight's episode. Well, another live review of SmackDown Live as we review tonight's episode of SmackDown Live, the November 28th, 2017 edition of SmackDown Live that took place from Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to take a look back, of course, of everything that happened on this episode of SmackDown Live. Overall, somewhat of a decent episode. I would still kind of give the edge to Raw a little bit, I feel, but the episode was decent. Some stuff I liked. Some stuff that was either pointless, underwhelming, a little bit of a letdown, but still a decent episode to sit through. I thought the main event was pretty good, though, despite something that did happen in the main event. I know some people were upset about, but, you know, there might be some technicality in there as well, but we'll see if that's addressed at all on next week's episode of SmackDown Live. So let's just get right into it. So we opened up with Shane McMahon making his entrance in the arena, coming down, pretty much just wanted to know what happened last week, as he felt that, you know, this is addressing how, once again, you know, since Owens and Zayn aren't bleeding blue, and has no respect for SmackDown, The Office, or anyone in the crowd, he was looking forward to firing them. But then he says, I took Daniel Bryan's idea of having all the superstars, since all of them were pretty upset with what Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens did at Survivor Series, the Team SmackDown, pretty much betraying them for some way. He said, why don't you let it be a lumberjack match? That way everybody can get their hands on Zayn and Owens. But then he said he didn't fire him. And then he said they've had numerous conversations about things lately, and he wants to hear from Bryan's own mouth himself. And he invites Bryan to come down to the ring. Daniel Bryan makes an appearance. Of course, gets a nice pop from the crowd as usual. He comes down to the ring, and he mentions how, you know, you're talking to a guy who has been fired a few times, but he doesn't believe in giving people second chances. Admittingly, their jealousy led Owens and Zayn to making a terrible decision by interfering at Survivor Series, just showing how much they wanted to be a part of Team SmackDown. He says, but Shane, you do have some temperament that can get the best of you at times. And you can sometimes make mistakes. And Shane does agree in a specific case, but, you know, he reminds him what everything that Owens did to his father, you know, when he beat him senseless, leading to their match at Hell in a Cell. He talked about what Sami Zayn did, saving Kevin Owens from losing at Hell in a Cell. And of course, it's portraying him at SmackDown. And he says, as Sami Zayn would say last week, check, double check, triple check, and whatnot. And he says, you know, yes, I understand, but they're doing things they can to show that they are the best in grabbing the brass ring. Robbie, live chat, don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world-famous Club of the Man 1993 and feel the power. It's a live stream. Yes, it is. Robbie, you killed me. You're always going up with pretty good stuff. Anyways, he's saying, but anyways, Bryan mentioned how, you know, he does see the talent in both Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And he's saying this firing them will cause them to go to the Monday Night Raw. And then Shane says, good, they can be Stephanie's problem. And then, again, but Bryan's still trying to plead with Shane that, you know, he says, let me ask you a question, though. You know, when you left last week, I was just doing my job. He said, when you hired me for this position, did you hire me just because you wanted the yes man or because you felt I was right for the job? If you want someone who wants to give people opportunities and, you know, try to reach that brass ring whatever ways they can, I'm the guy. But if you just want to hear this because I'm the yes man, then I'm not the guy you want for this job. So then Shane said that, you know, he made the decisions. And he does applaud Daniel Bryan, though, for making the match between Owens and Orton. But he wants to add another stipulation to it. Well, two, actually. Sami Zayn was barred from ringside, and also he was going to make the match a no disqualification match. Now, there had been heat between Owens and Orton on Twitter recently as rumors spread. And also last week it was said that Randy Orton was banned from being in the building because of what he was going to do to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So this is pretty much Owens, someone getting his revenge. So there we have it, a no disqualification match for our main event between Kevin Owens and Randy Orton with Sami Zayn barred from ringside. I'm like, okay, let's see how this actually ends up going. We then had backstage after commercial. We had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walking backstage, just like, upset about the stipulations for their match, and they see Daniel Bryan, and Sami says you can't possibly agree with Shane's decision to ban him from ringside, and that Owens is going to get severely hurt, and because Owens calling Randy dangerous, and Sami says that Bryan needs to sort this out, but Bryan's like, Sami, who do you think you are to make demands of him, and that they're not the only ones that are trying to keep their jobs around here. And so in that case, the answer to to Bryan, trying to sort this out, work this out, that Sami can be at ringside for Kevin is no. Actually, Bryan would say hell no, making reference to his former tag team with Kane, Team Hell No. So then we have the New Day taking on Chad Gable, and I was so happy that the Usos used this tonight, and Shelton Benjamin. As it did make an entrance, though, they're raining pancakes on the front row, and the Usos were on commentary again. As I said, we heard them go, Shelton Benjamin. I love it when they say that. The match wasn't too bad. It was Gable and Benjamin taking on Kofi and Big E. I mean, Kofi and Xavier. Big E was sitting out at a ringside. Again, it was a pretty good match. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing these two teams go at it for a tag title match someday. But a surprise though. I was a little surprised by this. I thought at least Gable and Benjamin would get the win here, keep their momentum going into, as they're probably gonna be getting their tag title shot at Clash of Champions. But surprisingly, New Day won. I was a little confused by that. Does this mean it's gonna be a triple threat? Is the New Day gonna get back involved in the tag title match? And I'm still confused as well as who's the face, who's the heel here? It seems that Gable and Benjamin are showing some heel tactics, but I don't think they're full on heel yet. And the Usos seem to be baby faces. So I'm still confused by that. I can't clarify whether or not they're baby faces or heels. But again, just see what happens in the upcoming weeks. Even though this is starting to drag out a little bit. But again, let's just see what happens. And then we had a recap of what happened last week with Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan. What they did last week on their SmackDown Live debuts. Of course, though, first off, I should reveal, Ruby Riott's name now has 2 T's in it, not 1. So that's just a weird change. But plus, also, we're gonna rant a little bit about this stable shortly. Then we had the locker room. It was advertised as going to be a 6-woman tag match. It was Charlotte, Naomi, and Natalya taking on Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan. So they're all hanging out. Well, they were hanging out in the locker room. And Naomi asks if you're ready for payback, and Charlotte says, yes, she's ready, and they're not going to feel so clever after tonight. Naomi says how last week it took a 3-on-1 ambush to take her down, but they can't stop the glow, especially when she's shoulder to shoulder with the queen. And then here comes Natalya out of nowhere with cat ears. And you telling Charlotte how you're lucky that you got to hold on to your title for another week. And then, Charlotte tells her off, and Natty says to play, will say I was just joking. Because tonight they're going to remind those women that they're at the bottom of the food chain. And Charlotte says after the night, no one will remember their names at all. So, whatever. But then we get a vignette for the Bludgeon Brothers, Harper and Rowan. Now, I said, last week, still called them Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, but nope, now they are just Harper and Rowan, the Bludgeon Brothers, making their way in a match against the Hype Bros. And I do not know why, but I really like the music from the Bludgeon Brothers. And, giving them a chance, seeing how this plays out, even though I'm just hoping that it's not going to just the Wyatt family just under a different name or whatnot. But, I still enjoy it. But again, it was another squash match as as Zach gets boots up and starts throwing Harper, and then tags in Rowan, and they take out Mojo, just like they did to Ryder last week. And then they hit a double crucifix powerbomb on Zack Ryder for a squash win. Now, after the match, though, so that gives the Bludgeon Brothers some more momentum going forward. But after the match, though, they're being interviewed, asking, what's been going on lately with your slump lately. And, Ryder mentions how it was a year ago since they were on top of the tag team division. Or they're one of the top tag teams. They had a tag team opportunity that they literally won right before Zack Ryder, right when Zack Ryder got hurt. So like they were pretty much on the top of the division. And they mentioned how now they've hit rock bottom and they're down below. And then the only way to do so, but then before Ryder can finish, Mojo Rawley starts attacking Zack Ryder from behind, and he just beats the crap out of him and starts screaming out that the Hype Brothers are dead, ground and pound, and he just lays out Zack Ryder. And then Ryder would go backstage, and as he's walking backstage, he was stopped and asked why he attacked Zack, and all Mojo can say, like Zack said, the landscape has changed. And he even tweeted that out like shortly afterwards, also saying the landscape has changed. So yeah, Mojo, the Hype Brothers have finally split. That long dragging little tension between them. I thought it was going to be Zack and then be Mojo. But I'll talk about this a little bit more as I will make a Turn Alert video, of course, tonight before I do my retro review of WrestleMania 31. And then we have another backstage interview with Bobby Roode. He was talking about Baron Corbin. And he was talking about, referring to how, Baron Corbin, took a cheap shot at him last week during the Lumberjack match. And he says, deep down, Baron Corbin knows there's someone out there who's smarter, better, and is going to take the United States Championship away. So what does Corbin do? He gets scared and holds the title tight and lashes out at anyone he perceives as a threat. It just so happens that the threat is obviously him, as he feels, but then Corbin goes out of nowhere, and Corbin tells how you think I'm scared of you? You're delirious. And Bobby says he's not scared and prove it by putting that title on the line tonight. But Corbin's not interested. So it looks like we're setting up a feud for the U.S. title match at Clash of Champions. At Clash of Champions. So again, I'm cool with that. Maybe add Shinsuke Nakamura in there as well, as I printed in my card predictions. She wasn't on the show tonight, but we'll see where it goes. But let's see what goes on. And then we have the Singh Brothers come out and introduce Jinder Mahal, yay, whatever. And then AJ Styles comes out to have a match in a 2-on-1 handicap match against the Singh Brothers. Before the match, though, Mahal and the Singh Brothers just beat down on Styles, but and then he gets ready. He's ready to fight though at the commercial. A handicap match wasn't as much of a squash match, but it was a little bit more funner. It was a little more entertaining than like just a normal squash match. There was a nice finish I liked was the Avalanche Styles clash with one of the Singh Brothers on top of the other. I thought that was pretty sweet. And AJ Styles win by pinfall, just, the babyface overcoming the odds and whatnot. Mahal goes in to try to attack Styles before Styles rolls out of the way. But afterwards, pretty much showing the end of this whole alliance. Jinder hits the Colossus on both of the Singh Brothers. So I guess that's it. See you later. Hopefully this means that Mahal's not winning at Clash of Champions. And we can just move on from this nightmare. Hopefully, we can tell Jinder go back to the low card stream if you would like. And then we have backstage. Now, here's where though I kind of got a little I was ticked off a little bit with this. We had an interview with Ruby Riott. Again, that's Ruby Riott with 2 T's. Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan. First thing Ruby says is, anybody has forgotten, our names are Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan. We are, and I'm hoping they would say Absolution version 2. But instead, she says, we are the Riott Squad. And I'm like, what? And then Liv says how the Queen may be a bit foggy on that. And Ruby says that Becky is probably still in traction in Houston. And they are here to turn the women's division upside down. Liv is a firecracker about to go off at any moment, and Sarah is the grittiest Southern belle she's ever met. Sarah says she's come from a family of hunters, and they're bagging 3 big game trophies tonight. And Ruby says how the 3 of them, Charlotte, Natalia, and Naomi, better be ready because they're going to experience a lot. So just like that, we are told that pretty much these 3 women have nothing to do with Absolution over on Raw. But let's look at it this way. What did they do in the match tonight? Well, besides Natalia walking out on them, they took, because she had nothing to do because she's a heel, they took out Naomi and buried her underneath a steel step, and then they beat Charlotte. 3-on-1. What does that remind you guys of? Last night, Absolution taking out, the Riot Squad, again, Riot with 2 T's, can't have 1, it has to be 2. They have to do the same exact thing, but they're not involved. It's like, why are you doing this at the same time? Road Dogg should be, in trouble for plagiarism right now, pretty much. I mean, again, I have no problems with any of these 3 women, but it's like, why do the same exact thing when it doesn't feel the same? There's no story. They're just here to make an impact. And the other thing that bothers me too, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan were all baby faces down on NXT. If you wanted to bring them up, why'd you have to make them all heels? Look at us now. We got on SmackDown, Nikki Bella is out of action. Becky Lynch is away filming a movie. We only have Naomi and Charlotte as the baby faces. Now we have Ruby Riott with 2 T's, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan, Carmella, Natalia, Tamina, and even Lana, if you want to count her as well. That's 7 heels, 2 baby faces. What's going on here? Like, the balance is so uneven. You're going to have the same matches over and over again. Why would you bring these 3 natural? Well, okay, Liv Morgan, I could have been okay with, trying her out as a heel. But Ruby Riott and Sarah Morgan, you could have Sarah Morgan's. Wow, I botched big time there. Sarah Logan. Why did you have to turn them both face? Especially Ruby. She was dominating down NXT as a baby face. Now there's 3 random women just up his heels just trying to make a difference. There's no other story to them. At least with Paige, Mandy Rose, and Sonya Deville, there's a story. Paige is doing typically what I expected to do. Reminding her, hey, I'm the one who actually started this. Don't forget about me. That's what happened. And then again, the match happened. Again, as I said, they pretty much made it down to 3-on-1. Ruby Riott gets the pinfall on Charlotte. I mean, again, I'm giving it a chance. But again, it just doesn't make any sense. This is just lazy booking right here. And you're taking 3 baby faces down at NXT, making them into heels, and just pretty much doing the same exact thing that's happening with Absolution on Raw, but they have nothing to do with it. Unless it's going to lead to, a Raw versus SmackDown match, mentioning like at the Royal Rumble or something, between these 2 new factions. But they're all heels. Why should we want to cheer for any one of them? That's what happened there. But we got that, and then we had whoever was waiting backstage for Orton to be interviewed, but Orton just walks out and just walks right past the interview and says on break. So first I was worried, maybe we're not going to get to the Fashion Files segment. I thought, we're going to just skip right through it again. And also, where did Randy get that hair from all of a sudden? He didn't have that hair at Survivor Series. He just must have, what's called China or something, got like some hair cream or something to get in his hair. Because he grew some hair pretty quickly there. But we came back from commercial, and we had our Fashion Files segment. And of course, once again, it just went nowhere. Again, we had Breezango and Ascension chained up in like a communal bathroom area, and they're like, it's normal on a Saturday for them to get out of here when they notice a tablet on the wall with like some guy in a clown mask mocking the tag team division, and to escape the room and destroy. They'll be destroyed with what they love most, and they'll be destroyed with some type of gas they don't escape. So they're freaking out as, on a tablet, they start counting out for 60 seconds. They find Tubby the horse and tear him apart and find a key in there. Breezango unlocked themselves, but it was too late. And Ascension offered to sacrifice themselves as your best friends. And so, you know, just forget about us. You won't be able to catch us out. And then they escape, and the Ascension, you know, start going down in toxic gas. So it says to be continued. Again, at this point, Bludgeon Brothers are out. Who else could it possibly be? AOP should have been up by now. Obviously, it's them. I was so enjoying these Fashion File segments. Now they're just dragging them on and on and on and on. It's getting nowhere. It's getting old. It's getting pointless. I just find it hard to care anymore with these Fashion File segments, and it's just a shame. It's just like, just reveal already who's behind all this. Like, you know, what is the point of these Fashion File segments? I thought, okay, I thought Balor we'll at least find out, you know, who the mysteries behind attacking the office. And that case never got solved. Nothing gets solved, and then you just drag it on and on and on and on. And I'm just like, whatever. Again, just same old crap. Literally, just, you know, Fashion File segments dragged on again, to be continued. That's it. But what was actually pretty decent, though, was this main event. Kevin Owens taking on Randy Orton in a no disqualification match, again, with Sami Zayn banned from ringside. So as, you know, they're making their way to the ring, I'm thinking to myself, okay, if Randy Orton can give a crap, then he put on a good match. Because I literally just saw a match earlier today, well, somewhat last night, because I finished watching it today, of Randy Orton when he actually did give a crap. And that was his match against Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 31, which was a pretty good match. I'm like, okay, if Randy Orton can just actually care and put some effort into his match, it could be a good match. And, you know, he was playing off, you know, his anger with Owens and Zayn from their recent actions with SmackDown Live. And he went out there like he wanted to kill Owens. And he did good. The match was pretty good. I mean, the only weapons they really used were kendo sticks. With, like, you know, tables or whatnot. There was no counts. He just went out into the crowd. But then, now here's the thing. I know, you know, the no DQs thing was on, and some people expected Sami Zayn to come out, which he did come out while they're on the stage, and he attacked Orton with a steel chair. Now, I keep saying that the only thing I want to see out of Sami a little bit more as a heel is some more, like, physical heel tactics. Because before it seemed like he was just, you know, following Owens' lead, but not doing anything, being proactive with things. Well, tonight he was using a steel chair, but his steel chair shots look very weak on Orton. It's like, Sami, put some effort into that swing. I know you're a lot stronger than that. Now, again, people are probably upset that, you know, Sami interferes by being no DQ, but it wouldn't surprise me if Sami would say, but I wasn't at ringside. I was just on the stage, just pushing the buttons a little bit more as he keeps doing. If anything, I thought it was going to be Rusev and Aiden English going to be making interference. Because if you noticed, after the Lumberjack match last week, they did somewhat, you know, start attacking the New Day as well, Rusev and English. And, of course, that's right, we didn't see Rusev tonight either. No Shinsuke Nakamura, no Rusev Day! I can go another day without hearing about Rusev Day. But I thought they would come out and attack, because it does seem like that. Like, if they were somewhat, you know, attacking the New Day after the match last week, then maybe that match that I predicted an 8-man tag elimination match at Clash of Champions between Owens, Zayn, and Rusev and Aiden English against the New Day and Randy Orton. I thought that these 8 were probably going to have issues with each other. It seemed in the build. But it's not a match I want to see happen. But that didn't happen as Sami Zayn interfered. You know, hit Orton in the legs a couple times. But that didn't fully stop Orton, affect Orton from winning the match. He did have some momentum going on Owens, but Owens did, like, you know, hit him in the legs again in the ring. And then I was hoping for Owens to hit a pop-up powerbomb on Orton, because I haven't seen that pop-up powerbomb in a while. But then he hits him with a super kick, and then he heads up to the top and hits a frog splash for the win. So, again, I don't know. I always get worried that when I do stuff like that, I'm like, oh, don't tell me they're going to be taking away his finisher, because I like the pop-up powerbomb. But Owens still wins the match. So, I mean, again, I thought the main event wasn't too bad. I thought it was a good match. I was glad it looked like Orton actually did care and put effort into it. It was a big win for Kevin Owens as well to keep his heel momentum going. And again, we'll just see what happens next week on next week's episode of SmackDown Live, which we'll be rolling into December next week. But that is it for tonight's episode of SmackDown Live. this review as well. Thank you, live chat. I have some notes from Robbie. He said, NXT tomorrow night, the Pirate Princess versus Poison Ivy. Can't wait. Neither can I. Mojo turned heel. The hell? Yeah, I felt the same way. But again, I'll talk about that in my Turn Alert video. I'll post later on tonight. And he says, looks like he also said Ruby Riot. 2 T's? That's a Vince move, no doubt. Oh, definitely is. Also, if they're really going to keep going with this heel stable, then they need to give Ruby Riot a new theme song, because like that theme song just sounds like a baby face. You can't keep it that way. And then Robbie also says, looks like I didn't miss anything noteworthy on SmackDown tonight. That's why I'll be watching the Crisis on Earth X crossover superhero event. Yeah, didn't really miss too much, really. It was a decent show, but if you missed it, you wouldn't really miss anything besides the Mojo heel turn. The pretty good main event between Owens and Orton. But yeah, hope you enjoyed that tonight, Robbie, as well. As far as my polls go, let me see here. I have 7 votes on what grade we get SmackDown Live tonight. 14% said A, 43% said B, 29% said C, 14% said D. And which shows you enjoy more this week, Raw or SmackDown Live? Out of 8 votes, 25% said Raw, 75% said SmackDown Live. All right, I mean, Raw was respectable. Personally, though, I still would give the edge to Raw a little bit. I know that third hour wasn't really too good, but there still was a lot of stuff that I actually was quite interested in from Raw last night. That's why for myself, I'll give the edge to Raw. And as far as my grade for tonight, I'll give SmackDown Live a C+. That's why I give SmackDown Live C+. What grade would you give SmackDown Live? As always, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And click that like and subscribe for more content on this channel. Follow me on Twitter at DemandAirborne93. And tonight, 2 more videos will be posted, as I will be doing my Turn Alert for Mojo Rawley and my retro review for WrestleMania 31. 2 more WrestleManias left until that retro review series is finished. And then what's next? Again, probably just some more odds and ends like I used to do. Haven't done that in a while. But as always, these live reviews will continue on. I'll be back here reviewing NXT tomorrow night. I know I said I was going to last week, but last week was just a recap show, so I didn't really feel there was anything to talk about. But I will be back reviewing NXT tomorrow night live, and then roll it into the weekend. See what happens. So thank you guys again for tuning in for this live stream, my live event of SmackDown Live. Robbie, thank you as always also for the nice little intro there. And yes, hashtag please sign Robbie. As always, Robbie1 Kenobi, my good friend, has always a lot of great ideas, and is interested in being a writer for WWE. So definitely check out his channel as well, Robbie1 Kenobi. Check out some of his ideas he's had, including a very brilliant, well thought out double turn if they would have continued on the Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor storyline, where it would have been a double turn with Bray Wyatt going face and Finn Balor going heel. What is that? Please check out Robbie's channel. Watch that video. As again, I'm endorsing Robbie as well as always. But that is it, guys. I'm signing out. Stay tuned for my 2 other uploads tonight. And with that, guys, I will see you all later. And until then, have a good night.